Hi everyone. I'm recording this video because I want to give you a short shrift to the video conference that we had on Saturday. In the video conference, we paid special attention to the guide that I gave you in the learning object of week 3, and I think it's very important that you all download this guide because in this guide you have the new updates of MLA, the updates that were released in April 2016. In this video conference, we discussed the two levels that I presented in the learning object of the week. We discussed the visual level, all pertaining to format, and also we paid attention to documentation of sources. Documentation of sources in text, in your line, in your essays, and documentation of sources in the list of bibliographic information that you present at the end after you have cited certain sources. The first thing that we discussed on Saturday was the format as such. And as I told you during the video conference, you don't need to memorize every single guideline. That is not relevant at all. What's important is that you know where to find the example of an essay formatted correctly. And you have this example in the guide that I gave you on page 4 of the learning object, and you have one example of an essay formatted following the guidelines of MLA. This is a very long essay because it includes everything from personal information on the blog on the top left-hand side of the page to the pagination of the document, preceded by the last name of the author and the indentation of the text, the way the title should be presented with capitalization of most important words, leaving out articles, conjunctions, and minor words. And also you have a very visual example because it provides all the information that you need to know when formatting the paper, from inserting a short quote, those quotes that are shorter than 4 lines and that should be inserted as part of your text, or when you have to insert a longer quote which is longer than 4 lines, in which case you have to use a freestanding block with the indentation. So these examples, all these examples appear on page 41, and all you gotta do is download the guide, and before submitting the essay on the day you have to submit it, you have to double check your essay and confront your format with the one presented in the updated guide of MLA. So this is the first thing that we discussed on Saturday, and the second thing was in-text integration of sources and documentation, which is the second level of MLA. We saw that MLA works in 2 separate but interrelated levels. The second level is documentation of sources in your text and bibliographic documentation of sources in the list of works cited. We saw the first thing that we saw was in the patterns of integration of sources. What is to integrate sources? You integrate sources when you quote a direct fragment, so it's a direct citation. When you use some words from the original, but you intersperse these words in your line, and then you keep quotation marks around the words that are from the original. When you paraphrase an original source, or when you make a summary of that original source. In those cases, you have to give in-text documentation. You have to, in your line, present the quote that you are, like in this case, here you have parenthetical information to introduce to give reference to the quote. And we explained on Saturday that there are 8 patterns of integration. When you are writing a line and you want to insert a quote, you could do it at the beginning of the sentence, in the middle of the sentence, at the end. You can introduce the quote using a colon, or there are several ways you can do it. If you want to find all 8 ways to integrate sources into your text, you may want to visit page 7 of the learning object of week 3, because you have all the examples there. Then we also saw that to see for the process of in-text citation and documentation of sources, I have been recommended a video that I recorded for you, and this is the link to the video. You're going to find the link in the new section as well. In this video, I give you the full process of integration of sources in MLA, and I pay special attention to the signal phrase and to the relation between the signal phrase and the parenthetical information in your text. Then we also paid attention to the list of works cited, and we discussed the importance of the core elements in the list of works cited. I mentioned in the video conference that MLA defines some elements that are common to most bibliographic sources, and these elements are clearly presented as the core elements to be cited in the list of works cited, beginning with the author, title of the source, title of the container, other contributors. So if you need to clarify what these core elements are, you need to come to the guide that I gave you, and these core elements appear on page 11 of that guide. It's very important that you before you format the essay, you have a clear idea what the core elements are. What is considered to be an author, what happens when you don't have an author, but the next element that you have in the list of core elements is the name of the source, the title of the article, the title of the book, or what have you. So it's important that you understand what these core elements are before you simply come to this site that I'm also recommending. In this site, from the MLA Style Center, you have a practical guide to help you format the list of works cited. And this is a very clear guide, and it offers some templates that will help you format your papers. So this is all we discussed on Saturday. Now you are about to start writing your second writing assignment, and this writing assignment is very important because you have to implement what you learned in the previous week, and you have to put it together with what you're learning now in this 4th week of the course. Now you're to write a 1-paragraph essay paper, making the summary of one of the articles that I listed for you at the outset of the class. So it's important that when you focus on not only in the contents but also in the format. That's why I consider that if you go back to your week 3 learning object and check the guide that I gave you on page 4, you're going to be in great shape. I just want to remind you that I am here and that you can contact me if you have a question or something is still not clear to you. I'll be more than happy to help you. Remember, I'm going to be posting the links to these videos that I am recommending here.